Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and... dang it, no. I figured I would do some light novel reading, and this is... The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Light novel for Volume 1. Let's see how this goes, because I don't even... When it gets to the spellcasting, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pronounce that stuff, because it just sounds like gibberish to me when they do it in the anime. Maybe I'll be able to do it here. Anyway, Prologue... I'm guessing that's Prologue 1. The assassin reincarnates. I was reclining comfortably in my seat on a passenger plane. Having finished my work overseas, I was on my way back to Japan. Assassins exit only in fiction. I'm sure that's what most people believe. Take a moment to really think about it, though. There's no quicker or more efficient means of disposing of an enemy than murder. And the more money and influence a person has, the more enemies they'll need taken out of the picture. When there's a demand for a service, a supply will arise to meet it. And that's how assassins, like me, came to be. My last job went off without a hitch. It was going to be my final day as an assassin. I had a retirement plan and everything. I came to be known as the world's greatest assassin, having been responsible for the sudden death by illness of numerous major figures, including several presidents. Oh. But in the end, even I was unable to defeat Father Time. My next job was already lined up. I was going back to work as an instructor at the facility where I long ago learned the tricks of my particular trade. So essentially this is where he learned to be an assassin. He's going back there to teach now. Training assassins required an extreme degree of high specialized knowledge and skill. Finding qualified personnel wasn't easy. From that day forward, I was going to be turning promising youths into seasoned assassins like myself. Or at least that's what I thought. Unfortunately, it seems this job was nothing more than a fabrication designed to have me let down my guard. Okay. The passenger plane shook violently with the sound of an explosion. Then the aircraft rapidly began to lose altitude. I can understand the desire to dispose of a tool that has outlived its usefulness, but to go this far just to kill one person, it seems I've built up quite the reputation, haven't I? Now I really felt old. I should have guessed this kind of thing would happen. Yeah, you should have. I stood up and pushed my way to the through the panicking passengers, hurrying towards the source of the sound. I hacked the security for the door to the cockpit and forced my way in. A few crew members tried to stop me on the way, but I kindly put them all to sleep. Well, they're going to be sleeping forever. When I entered the cockpit, I was greeted by the headless bodies of the pilot and co-pilot. This is fine. Nothing I can't handle, I told myself. Hang on. Sorry, I just got something in my eye. Assassination demands a great many skills. Piloting a passenger plane was no problem for me. Or at least it wouldn't have been a problem if the console hadn't also been blown to smithereens, along with the heads of the two pilots. I've taken the lives of a great many people in my day. I figured my time would come eventually, but I never imagined it'd have such an extravagant grave prepared. No matter the situation, I always tried my best to survive, even if the odds were stacked against me. That had always been my policy. I made use of all the knowledge and experience I'd gained over the years and pushed my mind to the limit in order to find a means of escape. There's still something I can do. Saving the plane and its passengers was a tall order, but there was still a chance I could save myself. Well, this certainly came sooner than I expected. Their preparation was flawless. Looks like I'm done for. Outside the window, I could see a fighter jet armed with missiles quickly approaching. Yep, you're done for. The plane was currently flying over a metropolitan area. If it were to crash in the city, the damage would be catastrophic. It seemed that the plan was to break my plane into tiny fragments before that could happen. By my estimation, the plane was supposed to reach destination in about 10 minutes, though that seemed less likely now. The jet fired a missile. It was an annoying complication. I would have been able to save myself if only I had the impending plane crash to worry about. The missile was an AIM-92 Stinger, an air-to-air model capable of so thoroughly destroying a passenger plane of his caliber that not even a scrap would remain. Unfortunate, I thought. A lifetime of acting as an emotionless tool for my organization, and this was how I was being repaid? I was so loyal that I wouldn't have hesitated to kill myself if in the order. Such betrayal instilled doubts in my mind about my employers and my line of work for the first time in my life. As death approached, I imagined that if I had another shot at life, I wouldn't spend my days as someone else's servant. I'd live only for myself. If I utilized my skills, knowledge, and experience purely for my own sake, then surely. Holding on to that thought, I fought for my life until the very last second, using every means at my disposal. When next I opened my eyes, I discovered I was in a temple. It appeared to be an ancient structure made of white stone. If I had to compare it to something, it'd be the Parthenon. There was no escaping that plane, and a part of me wondered if I had dreamed the whole ordeal. No, that wasn't a dream. Everything you just experienced was real. You were the world's greatest assassin, but in a moment of carelessness, you allowed yourself to be assassinated. A woman with white hair, dressed in an equally white tunic, burst out laughing. Actually, not only were her hair and clothes white, but so was her skin. Her eyes, everything about her was an alabaster hue. To top it all off, she was strikingly beautiful. Whatever she was, it was clear she wasn't human. Her beauty was too flawless, as if she'd been carved by a master sculptor. The frank tone she was speaking with could not have been less appropriate, however. Would you mind explaining what's going on here? I asked. You're dead, and I summoned your soul to this plane. Oh, I'm a goddess, by the way, she explained. I would assume so, considering you pulled his soul to this realm, so, yeah, you would have to be some kind of deity. Do you bring every single dead person in for an idle chat? If that's the case, then considering the number of people who die every day, there must be as many gods as there are stars in the sky. Either that, or you have way too much free time. Or perhaps you had a special reason for summoning me here. Yeah, the last one. You got it on your last guess. Typically, souls are immediately wiped clean and recycled. We gods are very busy, after all. Makes me wonder how many gods there are. Throughout the conversation, I've been trying to ascertain the validity of this odd woman's statement by paying careful attention to the movements of her face, the intonation of her voice, her perspiration, and anything else that could have betrayed a lie. Unfortunately, everything about the way she carried herself was normal to the point of abnormality, almost like the so-called goddess knew what I was going to do before I did it, and was having a bit of fun. It was unsettling, to say the least. I knew how to play her game to a certain degree, but she was far superior, to a point where it extended beyond the capabilities of a human being. That's what convinced me she was really who she claimed to be. If that's the case, then may I ask why I was summoned here? Well, you're a quick one. I'm giving you a choice. You can have your soul wiped clean so that you'll be reborn as a brand new person. You'll be a cute little baby without any idea of who you used to be. Or, in exchange for taking on a little request of mine, I can transport your soul into another world and allow you to be reincarnated with the knowledge and experience from your previous life intact. So if I went with the former option, I wouldn't be me anymore. I'd be an entirely different person. The latter option would, in a sense, allow me to continue my current life. It seemed like a far more appealing proposition. Spending my entire life as a weapon, only to be betrayed and killed by my master in the end, was an incredibly painful way to die. Starting again with my memories intact was a good chance for a do-over. However, I could think of only one reason why I was handed this offer. The goddess's little request was obvious, and I knew I wouldn't like it. Alright. So, regarding the condition for the second option, who do you want me to kill? Yeah. That's the only reason why she would give him his memories and all the experience intact. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust how I'm sitting. Ever the sharp one, aren't you? That'll make my job much easier. Oh yeah, you're kind of making it obvious here. Though I'd expect nothing less from the soul I set my eyes on. I want you to assassinate a hero in a world of swords and magic. I need it done within 18 years of your birth in that new world. A world of swords and magic? A hero? Are you making this up? No sooner had I asked the question than knowledge of that world flooded into my mind. Instantly I knew about the structure of that place, the art of magic, the culture, and the level of technological advancement. I even learned about the concept of heroes, such as the one I've been tasked with eliminating. It was a world completely different from my own. Well, yeah. This hero we're talking about saved the world, didn't he? Why does he need to be killed? I asked. 16 years from now, after this hero defeats the Demon King and saves the world, he will use his power for his own selfish desires, plunging the world into chaos on a scale that will far surpass the reign of the Demon King. Then 2 years after that, or 18 years from now, the world will fall to complete ruin. I would like you to kill him before any of this comes to pass. In other words, once the hero overthrows the Demon King, he'll have outlived his usefulness, I surmised. Somehow I felt an affinity for that man who would become a villain. We would have left him alone if he didn't cause any trouble, but he just had to go and make such a mess of things that I had to get involved. Ugh, how annoying, the goddess whined. This was a world where magic existed, and a good number of people possessed physical strength that far surpassed what was possible in my world. Their level of technology ranged from as far back as the Middle Ages to as recent as the mid-18th century, though magic likely supplanted a lot of the more advanced science my world had. My soul was to be transported there for the sole purpose of assassinating a hero. So I'm to dispose of this hero once he kills the Demon King and is no longer needed. Will I have to worry about suffering the same fate once I kill him? Didn't I just explain this? It's only because he's causing so much trouble that we have to get involved. Plus, you lack his power, and if you had the capability of attaining it, I wouldn't have chosen you in the first place. The goddess put a hand on my chin and gave me a bewitching smile. We chose an assassin because no soldier, knight, or sorcerer would have been able to kill the hero while staying within the bounds of normal human capability. Only a highly skilled assassin is capable of carrying out this job. So I have to kill this hero who happens to greatly exceed the strength of an ordinary man while remaining a humble human myself? The reason for our difference in strength had been placed to my mind, along with the information I was given earlier. Humans born in that world of swords and magic had a certain limitation placed on their abilities. From a very young age, heroes were able to break through that limitation and could become far more powerful and superior to other human beings. The goddess, or whoever else was in charge, allowed only one hero to exist at a time. So... Sorry, the last hero that the other guy had to take out, I'm guessing died at some point? Thus, if a hero went rogue and decided to rampage across the world, there would be no one who could stop them. No other person could hope to best the hero in battle. That's why the situation called for assassination. Okay, so now I think I'm starting to get it. Each time a hero shows up, what, do they go out of control? Then why give them the ability to break through those limitations? Because I'm sure that's part of the reason why they do it. I understand the nature of this hero, more or less. He's a monster. Given what I've known, I'm sure I can kill him. However, I'm going to need abilities on the very high end of the human spectrum, I said. Sure, I can help you out there. You'll be employed with the strongest possible specs a human can have, though still within reason. You will be also allowed to choose skills that would otherwise have been assigned to you at random, the goddess explained. Suddenly, countless skill options flooded my mind. In the world of swords and magic, people were assigned at most 5 random skills at birth. Being given the ability to choose freely from a seemingly infinite pool of skills was no small task. Rather than simply choosing the most powerful skills, I thought it best to choose skills with strong compatibility. That way, they'd add up to more than the sum of their parts. You can't choose the skills for me, can you? I asked. Oh, is critical thinking not your strong suit? It would be thrilling to watch you struggle to complete the job with the weakest skills I could possibly give you, but how about this? I'll give you 3 days to mull it over, so choose wisely. Of course, that is only on the condition that you accept my request. I have a number of questions I'd like to ask first. From what I've gleaned, it seems you're not able to interfere excessively in worldly matters. Isn't that exactly what you're doing right now by sending my soul to this other world to do your dirty work? You're not wrong. Occasionally, however, it just so happens that a world is short on souls and needs an influx from another world. Then there are cases where, coincidentally, the soul cleansing process goes wrong and memories and knowledge are accidentally left intact, and coincidentally, that person is born with great strength and powerful skills. So essentially she's bending the rules here. That is the limit to which we can interfere. Unfortunately, this here situation isn't one where the world can be saved through conventional means. Evidently, the goddess was doing the most she could within her limited framework. Next question. I have to kill him within 18 years, right? Can't I just off him as soon as I'm ready? No, that won't do. Wait until he kills the Demon King, at least. Only the hero is capable of defeating the Demon King, so offing him before he gets the chance would doom the world in a different way. I see. How many other souls have you lured here and enticed with the same proposition? Ooh. Here we go. It was hard to imagine I'd be the only person being sent to the world full of swords and magic with their memories intact in order to try and assassinate the hero. If I were in the goddess's position, I would try to up my chances by placing as many pieces on the board as I possibly could. Oh, now that's a shrewd question. I can see how you were able to become your world's most notorious assassin. The answer is none. I think you're no, she's kind of lying and kind of not. She has done this before, but that is not at the same time. The answer is none. For now, it's just you. Even if I am a goddess, there's no way I can pass off multiple assassins being reincarnated with all their memories intact as pure coincidence. For now, she says. I made a note of that remark. Last question, which is more important to you, saving the world or killing the hero? If it's the former, then in the event that an opportunity to save the world without killing the hero presents itself, would that be good enough? Saving the world is the primary goal, of course. Yes, if there was a way to secure a bright future for the world that didn't involve the hero's death, then that would be fine. If you really think you can make that happen, you're more than welcome to try, the goddess said with an unnerving smile. Oh, boy. Got it. I accept your request. I'll be reincarnated into the world of swords and magic. I do have one request of my own, however. I would prefer to be born into a family of moderate wealth. I'll need an environment where I can train to the fullest. Ah, there's no need to worry about that. You're being reincarnated as a scion of House Tuatha. They're the world's greatest family of assassins. Like I said, that is perfect. You'll have every resource you need available to you, so please work hard to raise your abilities to the maximum of human potential. Once you choose your skills, I will transfer your soul to your new world. The goddess disappeared, and I broke into a bit of laughter. I couldn't believe that even after being given a chance at a second life, I was still going to be stuck as an assassin. Yeah, you are. Oh well. I mean, it's what you do best. And maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of this world. I don't know. I'd sworn to myself that if I got a second chance at life, I would, if only for myself. Now I actually was getting into the chance for my memories of my past life intact, no less. But I'd be a tool right from the get-go. The irony wasn't lost on me. Still, I wasn't about to complain. I'd been given 18 years to kill a single person, and I'd get to continue living as myself despite having already died. This time, I promised to live for myself and find happiness. Chapter 1, The Assassin Chooses His Skills. Great, a whole chapter dedicated to this, guys. Yay, well maybe we'll find out what that other skill was, because we never got to see it. My first day was spent sorting through all the skills that had been shoved into my mind. Sorry. It was critical that I had not only a deep understanding of the skills themselves, but also of the world I was going to be reborn in. The total number of skills was absurd. To be exact, there were 123,851. In the world of swords and magic, people were assigned skills randomly at birth. There was many skills that didn't seem to have any practical use. Animal cry, dishwashing, speedy dressing, and cross-dressing. And if really? Lame! Skills were divided into 5 ranks. S, A, B, C, and D, and I could choose only one from each. S was 1 in 100 million chance. A is 1 out of 100 a million chance. B is 1 out of 10,000 chance. C is 1 out of 100 chance, and B is a 1 in 1 chance. The likelihood of being given a skill differed depending on the rank. Theoretically, it was possible to be born with a skill from every rank, but the odds of getting an S rank skill alone were 1 in 100 million. That meant the probability of being born with a skill from all 5 ranks was 1 in 100 quintillion. Dang. How'd you figure that? Considering that, I felt extremely fortunate to be given the privilege of choosing my skills. Most people were born with only a single D rank skill. I decided the best way to choose my skills would be to select a skill from the most powerful category, S rank, and then select subsequent skills that would best complement it. Makes sense. As one would expect given such low odds, each of the S rank skills is a force to be reckoned with, I remembered. Merely possessing an S rank skill was enough to put someone among the strongest people in the world. Magic Blade Summon allows the user to summon and wield a magic blade that adjusts to the user's strength. This one seemed a little plain at first, but the magic blade was outrageously powerful. You could cleave a mountain in half with this skill. Holy Vigor. Envelop the user in a shining golden aura that substantially increases strength, defense, and agility. That would be a good one too to have. The word substantially was a bit vague, but I was willing to let that even an infant could take down a tank with their bare hands using this skill. It had great versatility. If I was unsure of what skill to pick, this one seemed like a solid choice. Seal of Subordination. Enables the user to control their opponent by placing a mark on the target's forehead. So essentially you could play your own personal army with this. With this skill, you could create your own personal army of people under your complete control. There was a catch, however. So essentially this could be a villain skill if you wanted to. When the mark is made, the target has a chance to resist its influence by using their mana. Simply put, the user's mana needs to be greater than the target's. Monster creation. Allows the user to create monsters using a great variety of materials and command them in battle. This skill would allow you to create the monster army of your dreams. It seemed monsters were primarily made using corpses and magic stones. I can think of countless uses for this one. Those were just a few of the S-rank skills available to me. When choosing my skill, the first thing I needed to confirm was that I would have enough firepower. The hero far surpassed all standards of human strength, so even if I found him in a defenseless situation, I no doubt lacked the necessary strength to even put a scratch on him. This meant I need to make sure I had the ability to kill him with a single strike in some vital point. My chosen skill was also going to need a great deal of versatility. Any number of unexpected developments could occur during my attempt to assassinate the hero. Flexibility would be required if I was to recover from unforeseen circumstances and carry out my mission. Taking all that into consideration, there was no better choice for my S-rank skill than Rapid Recovery. Rapid Recovery increases the recovery rate of stamina, mana, healing, etc. Recovery rate is increased by a factor of 100. This multiplier can be further increased with training. Nice. At first glance, the ability didn't seem all that impressive, but he who can run the fastest will always survive. Being able to easily replenish your mana, which seemed to be the closest equivalent in that world to reloading a gun, was also attractive. Plus, it could be used to recover quickly from illness or injury. I'd also be able to function on very little sleep, and my stamina recovery rate would allow me to train for extended periods of time. After considering the rules of my new world, an accelerated rate of recovery seemed best. If the goddess hadn't given me a rundown of the world I was headed to, I doubt I would have chosen this skill. This is easily the best skill for my A-rank skill, I said. Spellweaver. Grants the ability to create new spells. In the world of swords and magic, spells were magical abilities bestowed upon people by the gods. There were only about 100 standard God-given skills that could be used. However, Spellweaver allowed me to make my own spells, allowing for infinite possibilities. Figuring that I'd be able to use my world's superior knowledge of science, I reasoned that I'd make great use of this skill. After choosing Rapid Recovery, this one's a no-brainer for my B-rank skill. Limitless Growth. Enables one to break through natural limitations. While this skill sounded really strong, it was pointless on its own. Normally, removing growth limits would be meaningless. Limits are often so high that most people don't reach them even if they spend their entire lives training. However, it formed an excellent combination with the inexhaustible amount of stamina offered by Rapid Recovery. Here we go, guys. For my C-rank skill, I prioritized versatility and chose Martial Arts. Martial Arts grants superb hand-to-hand combat capability and heightened reflexes. This skill had inferior strength compared to weapon-specific skills such as sword arts or spear arts. But as an assassin, I already knew how to handle just about any type of weapon, so martial arts seemed like the better choice for me. I had no reason to choose a skill that limited myself to a particular weapon. I'm not sure the gods are aware this D-rank skill even exists. No, it doesn't say! For my D-rank, I decided to go with a rather amusing skill. It wasn't particularly strong, but its effectiveness can vary greatly depending on how I used it. While all outward appearances pointing to it being boring, I was confident it would become my trump card. Oh, come on! Seriously? You couldn't have told us what it was at least so we could maybe speculate on what it was? Or at least give us the name of it? In addition to skills, I also needed to choose my elemental affinity, which determined what kind of magic I could cast. In the world of swords and magic, people were born with one elemental affinity. On rare occasions, a person could be born with two. There are 4 basic elemental affinities: earth, fire, wind, and water. These were joined by a pair of rarer elemental affinities, light and dark. Spells were awarded by the gods after repeated use of your elemental affinity. The elemental affinity I went with was Total Affinity. Total Affinity allowed you to use all 4 of the basic elemental affinities, but neither of the rarer ones. This wasn't without a drawback, however. As a trade-off for being able to use so many kinds of magic, the improvement rate for each of them was halved. If my improvement rate is cut in half, then I'll just train twice as hard. That shouldn't be a problem since my recovery rate is increased 100-fold. I decided the merit of being able to use 4 elements outweighed the demerit of a slower growth rate. After only 2 days of my allotted time, I'd chosen all my skills and my elemental affinity, but I decided not to tell the goddess yet. It was better to spend any time I had left considering my choices and looking over all the skills to see if there was a better combination. After spending my final day thinking through my options, I decided to stick with what I'd chosen the previous day. I'd use rapid recovery and limitless growth to improve my fundamental abilities. Martial arts would sharpen my movements, spellweaver and total affinity would greatly increase my tools at my disposal, and my D-rank skill would be my ace in the hole. Come on! Tell us what the name it is! You seem to have found a combination that you were satisfied with, the goddess declared, appearing before me. Hey, yep, this is the best I could come up with. Huh, you chose rapid recovery from your S-rank skill. A bit dull, isn't it? Same goes for your A-rank skill. I'd forgotten that D-rank skill even exists. Humans truly are fascinating creatures. Are you making fun of me? Far from it, I'm praising you. If you'd simply chosen the stronger skills without much thought, you'd have no chance of defeating the hero. He's got more than 30 skills after all. On top of abnormal physical strength and mana, a hero was also born with 30 skills from the S and A rank. Oh, great. Of those 30, a minimum of 5 were S rank. Given the ridiculous strength of those skills, I could certainly see why defeating the hero in battle was borderline impossible. With enough training and careful preparation, however, assassination seemed doable. I chose my skill specifically for that purpose of killing the hero, whose many abilities had granted him monstrous strength from birth. Okay, time for your reincarnation. Full disclosure, it's going to be awkward for a while. You're going to live as a baby while retaining your current knowledge and personality. Just try to bear it, okay? I'm sure being born into the DxD, a clan of assassins, will be boring, anything boring. I cannot talk today. Your mother is beautiful, you know, and thank goodness for that. I can only imagine how uncomfortable it would have been if you had made a repulsed face every time you had to breastfeed. That'd be a pretty nasty shock for any parents. Oh, one more warning. I recommend you change your manner of speech. It'll be off-putting to hear a child speak the way you do. Without waiting for my reply, the goddess snapped her fingers. My body transformed into particles of light. I was about to begin a new life. Hopefully the DxD clan of assassins will provide me with everything I needed to prepare. What time? How long have I been recording? Okay. I think I'm going to end it off here. I'll see you guys next time.